The 2023 Canadian Premier League regular season has come and gone, and what a regular season it was. Multiple ups and downs at different points. I, as well as most other people, were convinced different teams were going to win the regular season. Some teams had great runs, some teams crashed out. Just overall a great regular season. In the end, the 5 teams that made the playoffs are Cavalry, Forge, Halifax, Pacific, and York. Great regular season. I'm going to do a quick recap for each team, and then I'm going to predict who I think is going to win the regular season CPL awards. Valor FC, last place this season. A disappointing year for Valor, a team that really has not seen any success at all in the first 5 years of the team's existence. This year, Valor started off the season great defensively. Through the halfway point of the season, they were the best team in the league defensively. They just couldn't score. And the lack of goals seemed to hurt the morale, and the defense fell off as the season went on. Still finished respectable in league defense, but at less than a goal a game, this is a team that needed goals and just had no one to get them. Obviously, defensively and in net, they are pretty solid. If they just get some creative attacking pieces up front, they can turn themselves into a contender, but they need quality offense if they want to come back next season and make the playoffs. Vancouver FC, the new expansion team, had a rough go of it their first year. They were solidly in last place in the league up until about the last 5 games of the season. But in the last 6 games of the season, they popped off. They won 4 of their last 6 games, including 3 in a row at one point. They just turned into one of the best teams in the league in terms of form in the last quarter after they had already been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. That showcases that this team has what it takes to compete in this league if they keep most of this group together. They're a very young team. They'll get better over time. Vancouver's a team that next season, 2 seasons, if they keep most of this group, could be a dangerous team in this league. Atletico Ottawa, what a weird season for this team. Last year's regular season champions. They had a fantastic July and August. Take out July and August, you remove 6 of their 10 wins on the season. A terrible run to end the year, where removing the last game day when they were already eliminated when they beat Forge, in the 7 crucial games for them to make the playoffs, they picked up a grand total of 2 points, losing 5 out of 7 and only drawing the remaining 2. And the beginning of the season wasn't that great for them either. Obviously, this team has capabilities. They just need mental fortitude to get out of slumps, because that last 7 games, that last 8 games, was a disastrous season-ending drought for Atletico Ottawa. Obviously, in the summer, they proved the team can be good, but after this season's dreadful performance, things are definitely going to change in the offseason. York United. How is this team in a playoff spot? Like, they were a complete train wreck in most of September. They were arguing with the officials, arguing with each other, arguing over everything. Players were getting suspended on discipline calls left, right, and center. And somehow, through it all, they snuck into the last playoff spot. They brought it together in the last 2 games of the season to get the 2 required wins they needed to make the playoffs. They're a weird team. Their defense isn't that great, but they have lots of offensive talent who, when they play well or when they have moments, can carry this team to points. Basically, if you combined York's offense with Valor's defense, you'd have a really solid team in this league. So this is a York team, though, where if they keep most of this group around for next year and they get ownership stability, they'll definitely be a lot better of a team. This was a group that needed more mental fortitude, and I think the ownership problem really played a role in their regular season not going as well as people had predicted at the beginning of the season. They still made the playoffs, but with any consistency in the ownership and the situation around the team, they will be a better team next season. Pacific FC. This is another team where when they're good, they're good. They just have downturns in form. Pacific, when they're flying on all cylinders, one of, if not the best team in the Canadian Premier League. Just in terms of depth and committee scoring, Pacific is the best team in the league. They do, however, lack the number 9 X-Factor striker up front. Esteban Garo did not have as good of a season as I think people would have hoped for them. And so the lack of having one guy who's the clear-cut step up, going to score the big goal for you guy, definitely hurt Pacific in the standings this year. However, Pacific had a solid regular season. If they can keep most of this group around for next season, they will be solid yet again. The Halifax Wanderers, the story of the Canadian Premier League season. I had them coming in last in my preseason predictions, but this very young team was fantastic, and they had their young players that just got better as the season went on. Dan Nimick, Massimo Ferrin, those are guys who, as the season went on, each game out, they were just getting better and better and better. And that scares me for what this Halifax team can be next season when these guys continue to develop and continue to grow, mature, and get better and better and better. And also, think about what would happen if this team had a fully healthy Jean Morelli. Like, he was great, and they were scoring a bunch for like the 7 games they had him. If he's around for a full season, Halifax could top the league. Forge FC, second place. Not much to say about Forge, really. They just had a Forge season. Solid all around. Campbell, Pacius, both sharing second place in the Golden Boot race with 10 goals each. Manjrekar James was a good addition on the back end. Just another solid Forge season where they continue to be one of the better teams in the league, and another second place finish in the regular season for Forge. And finally, Cavalry FC. CPL regular season champions. What a season for Cavalry. They had the best regular season performance in the Canadian Premier League of any team since Forge and Cavalry's 2019 seasons. So in the 8-team era, this was the best regular season ever for a Canadian Premier League team out of Cavalry, which is a massive accomplishment for them. Just a solid season all around. Like, they look undefeatable right now. They just are the cream of the crop of the league. They've been so good. Dan Klomp has been fantastic on the back end. Eric Cobbs, that was a fantastic draft pickup. Meyer Beaven, what a season he had, sharing the Golden Boot with Ollie Bassett of Atletico Ottawa. All around, just everyone was firing on all cylinders for Cavalry, and they get a well-deserved regular season championship. So that does it for the teams. Now, who are my picks to win the CPL awards this season? Let's start off with Goalkeeper of the Year. My pick for Goalkeeper of the Year is Marco Carducci. 8 clean sheets on the year, which is second most in the league, behind only Tristan Henry, but he faced more shots than Tristan Henry and conceded fewer goals over the course of the season. On top of that, starting every single game of Cavalry's dominant regular season champion winning season, I think Carducci is all but a lock to win his 3rd CPL Golden Glove. Coach of the Year, Patrice Geyser is the only option. He took a young Halifax team that no one expected anything from really, and got them to finish the season in 3rd place. Just getting a playoff spot probably would have been enough for Geyser to win this award, but getting 3rd place in the league almost locks him in it. Tommy Wheeldon Jr. is an honorable mention. He was great managing Cavalry this season, but Cavalry is a team that people expect to be good. Halifax was not, and that is why Geyser should win it. U21 Canadian Player of the Year. Now, this is the award that I think is the most up in the air. Guys who I think could be in the conversation: Pacific goalkeeper Emil Gazdov, Forge left back Kosi Poku, Atletico winger John Anielasi, and Valor midfielder Matteo Debrienne. Now, I think Debrienne is going to edge it out. Of these guys, he was the most offensively proficient. 3 goals and 3 assists, leads both categories for U21 players in the league this season, and he did it on a team that could not score a lot of goals. So Debrienne is my choice for the U21 Player of the Year. Defender of the Year, this is an award that a couple different names popped up throughout the season. Manjrekar James, Dan Nimick, both on the radar, but I think in the end it has to go to Dan Klomp. Klomp was just an anchor for Cavalry all season, and with 8 CPL Team of the Week appearances, not including the last week of play, he had the most CPL Team of the Week appearances out of any player in the league this season. Dan Klomp was the best defender in the league this year. He's been one of the better defenders in the league for the past 2 years. This year is his year for Defender of the Year. And finally, Player of the Year. Now, Armis Loof had a great season for Pacific, 7 goals, which was up near the top of the league, 8 assists, which led the league. And I know he's some people's pick for Player of the Year, but I think he's just going to be edged out by Lorenzo Caligari. Caligari was the machine of the Wanderers midfield this season. He led the league in passes by a couple hundred. He was everywhere for Halifax. Their success is directly tied to him. 6 assists on the season too, which is right near the top of the league. Lorenzo Caligari probably was the most crucial player to a team's success in the Canadian Premier League this season, and that's why I think he should be Player of the Year. So there you have it. That wraps up a great CPL regular season. Possibly the most exciting regular season we've had so far. I mean, last year 4 teams all able to get first place on the last day of the season was pretty damn cool, but this season had a lot of good storylines across the season, so it was just a great season overall. Let me know in the comments how you think your team did this season, if they exceeded expectations, failed to live up to expectations, and let me know who you think is going to win some of the CPL awards this season. As always, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more stuff, stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.